Hello everyone and welcome back to another tutorial on the Boredom Boys channel. So glad to have you guys. If this is your first time on this channel, be sure to check out my previous video detailing how to start programming in Java. Once you've watched that, make sure you come back here. It will get you set up with everything you need to download and just some beginner knowledge. Now, if you've already watched that video, we're going to be tackling something a little bit more difficult today. We're going to be making a clock that outputs the current time. Now, Java stores the current time in milliseconds since January 1st, 1970. Now, it stores this in GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, and this can be translated into any time zone that you live in. For example, I'm in EST, so I'm 4 hours behind GMT. Without further ado, let's go ahead and create a new class. You can call this whatever you want. I'm going to call this clock tutorial, and then make sure you include the public static void main arguments as we did in the last video. Great. I'm going to erase this comment here, and we can get started. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new long variable, and I'm going to call this current milliseconds, or sorry, total milliseconds. And this will be the total milliseconds it's been from January 1st, 1970 to now. And I'm going to use this to do system.current time millis, and then close parentheses and a semicolon. Now, if we printed this, we'd get a giant number because it's been quite a bit of time since 1970. Now what we're going to do is we are going to make a few more variables, and this one's going to be current seconds, current minutes, and current hours. So current seconds is total milliseconds over 1,000, as there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second. Total minutes, which is total seconds over 60. Total hours, which is total minutes over 60. Great. Now we have the exact amount of seconds, minutes, and hours it's been since that date. I'm going to give a little tab space, and we are going to make current seconds, current minutes, and current hours. So current seconds equals total seconds, and then for this we're going to use remainder. Now remainder is going to divide the total amount of seconds by 60 and just give us what's left. We're going to do current minutes equals total minutes, remainder 60. And then last but not least, current hours. And that is going to be, I'm going to put a parentheses, we'll use this later. It's going to be total hours, again, but 24 because there are 24 hours in a day. Great, now that we have this, I'm going to go down a little bit, and we are going to use the print function, so system.out.println, and let's start with hours. So we're going to use current hours, and again, this does not need any quotation marks because we want the value. I'm going to use the plus as a concatenation to bridge the two, and I'm going to put in a colon here to separate the time. I'm going to add current minutes, and again, colon, plus current seconds. This will display not only hours and minutes, but seconds. And I'm going to add this, a space, and then I will say GMT. Now, if we print this out, make sure you add the semicolon. You'll see it's 22, 45, 50 GMT. Now you may be saying, I don't use the 24-hour system. Neither do I. So let's get this into the 12-hour system. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 12 from this 22. Now, this will work if you're in PM currently. So if it's 10 PM, it'll work. However, if it's 10 a.m., it won't, and you'll get a negative number. So we're going to make a new variable, a new string, and we're going to call it time of day. So let's say time of day, and then quotation marks, and we're going to say a.m. We're going to default it to a.m. Now we're going to go down to the system print, and we are going to add time of day. Again, you don't need any quotation marks because it pulls from the string, which will automatically put in a.m. All right, now we're going to go to GMT and just add a space, just so that there's a space before time of day and a space after time of day. So it's not AM GMT, it's AM space GMT. Great, let's print this. And it says 22:48:8 AM GMT. However, 22 is not in the morning. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an if statement. It's going to be if, open parentheses, if current hours is greater than 12, which means 13 to 24, then we're going to open a bracket. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take current hours and have it equal to current hours minus 12. So only if it's in the supposedly PM stage should it subtract 12. So if it's 6 a.m., it will not subtract 12. It will finish with AM and it will print the correct time. Now what we need to do is we need to set time of day to PM. So what we're going to do is we're going to use time of day. Now to set time of day to PM, we're going to type in time of day. Again, we already defined the variable, so we don't need to write string in front of it. Time of day, PM, and add that semicolon. Awesome. Now if I play, you'll see it says 10:49 p.m. Great. Currently it is 6:49 p.m. EST, which is correct. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, what if I don't want GMT? I want Pacific Standard Time or Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go up to this current hours variable up here and into these parentheses. We actually don't need these, but I'm going to add another set of parentheses within the set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take total hours and I'm going to put it in this another set of parentheses, and I'm going to add 20. Now, GMT is 4 hours ahead of EST. I'm going to set this clock for EST, but instead of subtracting 4, which could break the system, if I subtract 4 and it's 2 a.m., I'll get negative 2 a.m., and that just isn't right. If I add 20 to total hours, I'll get a pretty big number. However, again, we're going to use remainder 24. From that, we should get the exact time, exact number of hours, but in PST. So I'm going to change GMT over here to PST, and we're going to see what time it is. Currently, my computer says it's 6:51 p.m. Let's see if that runs. There we go, 6:51 p.m. PST. Great, now we have a working clock program that draws from the current time in milliseconds and uses a system to detect whether it's night or day and prints it out in your desired time zone. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you really liked it. Stay tuned for more tutorials. This is Chris, and I'm out.